Hello and welcome to episode 12 of our Timberborn Update 6 Wonders of Water playthrough with the Iron Teeth faction, Cycle 22, Day 1. Last time we got this, well technically it's not full, but we got this reservoir operating, and we started the process of eventually building a very large, well, it's not that long, but bad water slash good water slash mixed water, whatever the term for that would be, diversion canal all the way around the map. And I think based on the comments that you guys have left on the last video, the overall consensus is that this will be a great idea, going to look pretty good, and going to increase the value of our natural features right here with the natural overhangs and this bad water source moving in here. So yes, that is what we're going to do. Bring this around to, I think, this corner with the dirt blocks, and then start using overhangs, step down, go across these natural overhangs, and then come around the front here on the overhangs, then tie into this. So that way, all of the bad water from here just goes over and around and across this, and then it all dumps out right here. And then we may or may not still have these wheels in place depending on how much power that this thing is going to generate. I can't imagine we're going to take these out, but we probably are going to have to restructure how this channel is, well, structured. I guess that's why they call it restructuring, to accommodate all of the water that's going to be flowing through here. So let's go ahead and triple speed this so I can get to daytime so I can actually show you what we're talking about here. There was a lot of discussion in the comments about the orientation of the water wheels and power and all that stuff, so let's just take a second and talk about what we're going to end up doing. Put this on single speed so we don't lose too much time here. But the gist of what we're accomplishing here, I'm going to go ahead and, since we're in a good tide, I'm just going to open that one and close this one. We will have to manually fix this later. But what's happened is, if we divert this, obviously we want to turn wheels, and we want to be able to generate power. The issue we're running into, and we ran into last time, was that the bad water, because these are made of dirt, is going to contaminate the ground around it unless we put these irrigation barriers in place. But the problem is that the irrigation barriers do not allow anything to be built on top of them. So the only way to solve that is to put either a platform or an overhang. I'll just, for the sake of argument, show you with both. These aren't going to stay here, don't worry. But that's what that would end up looking like. There's a couple different ways that we could accomplish connecting these. Many of you different ideas offering in various forms and fashions to get these things hooked up. But I think, and most of this I'm going to credit to Drexos Beard Booster and a member of the Discord for illustrating it in a way that I can see what's going on here. Basically, you elevate these one level, and right now there's not enough water coming in to turn them, but I think when we actually start diverting and this fills up enough, we're going to see this rise a little higher than it currently is, just enough to turn these, in theory. We're of course going to check this before we fully commit to building it. But, yeah, I think it's going to work to elevate this up one level. If it doesn't, then obviously this idea isn't going to work and we'll have to go back to the drawing board. But I believe it will. Right now, this is the full strength of these three blocks coming through here. And it doesn't, visually, it doesn't look like it's going to be tall enough to turn here. But we do have the option of filling up part of this with either some levees or putting other dirt blocks in to raise it enough to turn the wheel while at the same time not flooding off the front. So we're going to have to, mess with this a little bit. Probably not going to get it finished today. But just want to let you know, I do actually read all of the comments. Just because I don't build what you want me to build doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. It just means I don't think it's going to work, or there's something else that I think might work better, even if your idea does work. So I promise it's never personal. I'm never ignoring you. I just literally cannot do everything everyone asks, or nothing would ever get done. Because a lot of the time people make suggestions that are going to be impossible to build because we've already done something else, or we're planning on doing something else, or something they suggested doesn't actually follow the rules of the game. in terms of how physics work or whatever, or it's just not something I think is going to fit in with what we're doing. I promise you, I still care about you. I'm glad you're here. It's not a personal thing. It's just the way that the game ends up working out. So for now, we have these guys here. I obviously am not going to commit to building a whole bunch of these elevated water wheels if it's not going to work. So we will have to kind of spend a little bit of time messing with it, but that's not important right now. What's important right now is we get this channel actually functioning to the point that we can have this come around the corner here. So that is one of the things we're going to be working on today, in addition to redoing some of this farming. Now, right now we are in really good shape when it comes to growing stuff, with the exception of the canola, which obviously this little tiny bit right here was never going to be enough. We just kind of shuffled stuff around so that we could do what we were going to be doing. You can see very clearly we do not have any. Well, now we have one canola oil, so we need to be building more of this. Part of the reason why I built this thing, and yes, I do know about the layer peeling, I just end up not using it most of the time. Part of the reason I did it like this was so that we could plant a whole bunch of stuff over here. So we will need to make sure that we are keeping things contained in the right areas. I do have this farmhouse specifically set up this way so that we could, you know, plant stuff around. But I think I'm going to have to move it. I'm going to... Oh, we weren't using it right now anyway, but I'm going to move it to be rotated like this because that's going to allow me to run my path all the way through here. And the reason I'd run it all the way to the end is because I'm going to keep the berries contained on this side of this path. I'm pretty sure we're going to need more berries than we have eventually as our beaver population continues to climb. So again, that's why we're doing that. I will go ahead and demolish these berries on this side, and then we'll let them just spread as they want to over here. I don't think I technically have to get rid of these, but these dead bushes, but I don't think it's going to hurt. Just do whatever we can to make sure stuff is going to go smoothly. All of these tagged, looks like it. Yeah, these irrigation barriers I don't think are going to be necessary. But for right now, I think we probably ought to just leave them where they are. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I am open to the idea of elevating these wheels. I thought it was going to be a great way to do it, but the initial water level results that we've got here are not promising without there being something in the way here, either a levee or a dirt block, depending on what we choose. I'm kind of concerned that if I put a whole bunch of dirt blocks in here, that, well, at least down one side, it might cause overflow. So, like I said, we're going to keep experimenting with stuff. And just because I like an idea doesn't mean it's going to end up working out perfectly. Every situation is different in this game when you're messing with irrigation stuff to a certain degree. Obviously, the physics still are going to apply generally the same, but because of the way we have stuff oriented and the size of the channel, the depth of the channel, it's not necessarily going to match up to testing of any other stuff. But I think we can leave this alone right here. That's going to be fine. This farmhouse, yes, it does overlap with that space a lot, but we are going to need, I guess, technically an all-hands-on-deck kind of approach to planting stuff like our cassava right here, which I will go ahead and put this, I think, long-term, we have like 1,300, but we're going to be consuming a lot of cassava. I think if I have this set up like so, this much cassava is about the same as what we already have planted, just moved over, and we haven't run out of it yet, so I think we're probably okay. We can always expand it later if we absolutely have to. Actually, you know what? I'll keep these two rows that I already had set up, but that'll be all cassava. The quantities of corn that we have right now are, well, they maxed out our raw corn storage and our raw eggplant storage. The consumption right now is not going to be what it's going to be if we have like 300 or 400 or 500 beavers. I don't know if we can support that many on this one. Long-term goal is going to be to find out. But, you know, everything just takes time. To borrow a saying from our Water Beaver series, I'm sure many of you will be delighted to hear me saying again. But, yeah, we're just going to have to continue moving stuff over gradually and seeing what it is that we're able to accomplish. But one thing I can promise you is that we absolutely have to be planting more canola. And I know 2 little things isn't really going to make that much of a difference, but I've got to put more canola in somewhere, basically anywhere I can, while we are reconfiguring stuff. It looks like I can fit some up here, so I will do that. This right here is going to be like another 50% production versus what we already had, so that's probably okay. Outside of that, I think the name of the game now is just to finish our big projects. Food security-wise, we're in a really great spot. We just need to make sure that we are staying on top of it as the population continues to grow. So, that's looking fine. I'm going to let the berries spread, like I said. Continue looking at the rest of this stuff. Did get a comment saying that we should probably put impermeable floors on this dirt. I don't think it's going to matter, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright, now that one's completely demolished. I think, in theory, it may reduce evaporation a little bit. I haven't tested that, but let's be honest. We're playing on normal difficulty. The maximum drought's 9 days. This is completely overkill as it is. It's just the way it goes. But I'm gonna flip this back to auto, just so we can, you know, actually have water in here, because they are pumping it out right now. So we'll let that get back going the way it needs to go. Fill up our irrigation, fill up our little reservoir channels here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this dam back in place. This probably isn't the way this is going to stay, because obviously it's going to cause some weird issues with water going back and forth. But for right now, I think it's fine. I don't remember exactly who it was who said this, but the reason that this sluice is constantly letting out water is because the maximum downstream depth is higher than this dam is. So if we move this down to, say, 1.6, these will close and open a whole lot, because this is like 1.65 or 1.66666 something or other. Yeah, you see cycling back and forth between open and closed. As long as it's not surging stuff here or downstream, which it seems like it might be. That's another one of the reasons you just want to keep it open all the time. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I want to avoid flooding, and I want to make sure everything stays irrigated when it's supposed to be irrigated. So that should end up working fine long term. Other question I asked you guys to answer, and boy did you, was the height of the dam. Some of you want it to be way super high up above here, but the general consensus, averaging replies out, is that you want it to be, this wall to be at least as high as the border of the map. So I think that's going to be the easy thing to do. Go ahead and start the process of building that up. Probably in chunks because of just how long it's going to take. Again, it is a process. It is not going to be quick. That is just how it goes. We'll have to make sure to very carefully delete only the pathways here. And then probably just start building this one from up top this way. In fact, yeah, I'm so afraid of them trapping these beavers in here that I think I'm going to have to disconnect that path so that nobody else can come over here. I guess they're going to complete their... They really don't care, huh? They really don't care. Alright, well, get out of here. Go do something else. Easiest way to solve this is to just stop them from being able to get here at all. Because you know that is going to be a whole thing. So we'll do that. They obviously don't need to go down in here anymore until we have to build stuff, but that can be a problem we solve at a later point in time. So I will go ahead and remove just the paths. Just the paths. So nice to be able to do this. I said that before, but absolute game changer in every way, shape, and form. Alright, so now that we have idiot-proofed this thing here, I'm going to disconnect this path and that path, and we will go ahead and start building that up, and then, of course, they're going to continue with this. But goal now, as it was before, is to continue filling this up all the way to the corner, just to make sure nothing can ever flood in a horrifying disaster way. And this wall being right here is going to be perfectly fine. We'll have to continue moving this stuff this way. And I will leave this open in the very corner here, I think is going to be the thing that's going to make the most sense. It's going to be 2 blocks wide. I think it's the maximum that we're going to have is going to be 2 by 2. If this was routed through here and it hasn't flooded yet. I do want to try and see if putting, just say, terrain blocks right here, I'll do 5. I'll do 5 like this. We'll see if that ends up flooding. If it does, then obviously we know we're not going to be able to move our water wheels up 1. But I think it's going to be fine because... Oh, here we go with the water folding again. This is basically an infinitely long face for water to always just just tumble over like that. Sound effects included. So we'll come back and check that out as necessary. But the gist of what I was going for is going to be to have this right at the edge, like so. And then, starting right here, take our... I don't have enough science for this yet, because I haven't turned my number cruncher back on, because I was trying to save power. Yeah, which we're not currently making a really stable supply of. Ah! We have flooded. Yeah, okay. So, clearly, someone is absolutely just, like, screaming, throwing their computer at the wall right now because they're mad that I didn't do something, but... clearly, having this set at 1.6 was not the right way to go about it, because now it's flooding everything. So I'm just gonna open this so we can alleviate some of our disaster right here. This will all drain out eventually. It could also be that me putting this dam back in caused problems, but hey, it is what it is. We'll let this. We have plenty for irrigation right here as it is. It's already full. We're working on raising level. But now that we have this coming through here, we have an interesting opportunity to test stuff. So this one's making 680, 685-ish. Let's call it 680. If they put these 5 in, let's just try that right quick. Make this the... oh, you know what? They actually can't get to it, can they? Doesn't seem like it. So... give them a chance to get up here. I really want to see if this is going to affect the height. Because right now we have like a full block, almost a block and a half of space above this. And this is the most this is ever going to flow. Remember, because this is completely cut off here. And all of this is going through here. This is the most it will ever flow. If we have the dirt in here and it doesn't cause flooding, then we're going to know it's fine. Update 6 no longer has the water wheels actually affect current. So these aren't going to bunch anything up. We don't have to worry about stepping down every couple blocks or whatever it is. Everything ends up being A-okay. Now, I am curious as to why this is so much... Okay, well, it's also lower because this isn't flowing out. Of course, that's how that works. But we are certainly trying. We're learning together, and that's what it's about. I am aware there are many people who are much better at this game than I am. I am never going to be one of those people that is like a technical genius in Timberborn. It just is not possible. And I'm never going to be mad about that. But if we can come to the understanding that this is not the place to come for that, then I think that would be that'd be best for everybody involved. We have fun here. We try things. We make mistakes. And that is just fine. That's what life is. Not everyone's going to be perfect all the time. And if everyone is perfect all the time, then they're lying to you, because that's definitely not how it works. But all that being said, this is not even above the level here. It's not bunching. Obviously, like one little bit of 5 blocks is not going to be your definitive answer here. But I am very, very curious. Can I get, say, 5 more here? Is it going to be possible for this to basically never, ever overflow because of how this is designed? I'm really curious. Because if I can just run this all the way down here, and obviously once there's stuff at the output, it's going to, you know, not want to play nice. But I think we might be onto something here. I can always just blow this up if it doesn't work. That's always allowed. We're trying, we're learning, we're experimenting. That's what life's about. Experimenting in responsible ways, let me be abundantly clear. At any rate, this now has extra room here. Corn-wise, I think we're okay with the amount we currently have planted, but in the interest of future-proofing, I'm going to go ahead... That's not corn. I'm going to go ahead and say... Well, first of all, we're not going to need this path here unless we're going to have more farming space. I can blast this down here. That is an option if we want to go all the way back. We can do that, but for right now, I think we're okay. I'm going to go ahead, remove these paths, and we're going to start planting the corn a little bit further back here. That's going to add a little bit. Again, we're not out of corn right now, but we probably could stand to add some, and I'll remove these 2 rows of corn, and we can plant those as something else. So right here behind, we have kohlrabies. We have kohlrabies here. I think long term, we're going to want to put in additional dirt to build this farm out a little bit. I was thinking about maybe just completely reorienting the flow of this so we didn't have problems. Yeah, see, look at this. Look at this. We have this completely filled in here. And it has not raised our level pretty much at all. I think it might be trying to commit water folding on me here. So that raises another interesting question. What if so this is clean water right now, like, remember, we can get away with this because it's clean water. What if I just fill this in another little bit here and raise the level up to where this is just 1 block deep across the board? Remember, this is the maximum amount of flow this channel will ever have, no matter how we choose to route stuff. Look at this. Got an army of beavers coming down here with all the dirt. Okay, so now the water is being forced to flow up on top. It is not flooding, although there is some interesting physics downstream action occurring here. So the speed has substantially decreased, but I think it's going to even out. It's going to even out over time. I know for a fact if I have all of these terrain blocks set up like so, I can come in with a platform like this, and then I can build a water wheel on top of it. And it's going to turn. It is going to turn. We just have to be careful how we're getting stuff in through this. These right now, 219, 220, yeah, 220-ish. This one, in theory, these, remember, these were 680 before I put this in. This one should turn, in theory, the same speed as these guys, but I'm willing to bet that there's some sort of funky nonsense happening here. Yeah, because see, the rate of flow has actually decreased coming out, which is kind of funny. It's coming out through here. It's coming out through here because it's open. This was never, Alright, so it's time for me to admit I was wrong. Alright, now we have to try this. Now we have to try this. This wasn't fully closed. Oh, there's going to be some really angry people in the comments. Alright, get this equalized coming through here. All right, are we going to flood? Are we going to flood? Because remember, this is completely across 5 by 2. I don't see... Okay, there we go. There's your 680. I thought for sure I had that shut already. I don't see flooding. I really don't. So, you know, I think we might actually be in decent shape. Maybe. Make sure they can build this stuff while we're sitting here. I want to see what happens when this is built. If this is actually... Well, I guess I could have built this the correct space. We are going to have to tear it down and redo it, but I'm not worried about losing some planks or logs. Again, this is normal difficulty. We've already proven the beavers are going to live forever. At this point, we're just playing around with the mechanics and enjoying the process of doing all that, which is what I'm all about. So, get this thing finished here because I want to see some progress. All right, come on. Just need a couple more logs. Just about done. All right, so that hasn't affected water level at all. And we have, right here, 671 HP. Is this going to be the same? It is exactly the same. Yes, indeed. This is what Drexo supplied in the stuff that he sent over. So, pretty sure this was going to work, but we had to test for ourselves to make sure it was going to work in this application. And it is glorious. Absolutely wonderful. This is going to allow us to keep the ugly power shafts and stuff hidden behind by putting platforms across the entire back here, keeping the path underneath, and having all of the irrigation barriers on the front side. This is fantastic news. So, everyone in the comments who suggested different things, thank you for your input. If it was not your idea that I picked, I am sorry. But I do still genuinely appreciate you taking part in the process. And just being overall very good people. So, all that being said, we have a bad tide in 3 days. We need to make sure this is actually set up correctly. These are... Okay, they're just changing because it's closing above depth. Yeah. I'm gonna... the way that this is backing up and overflowing, until I have an overflow properly built, I'm just going to have this set to 1.7, so it's just always open, pushing stuff through here, and we're just going to go... Oh, wow, they've already cut basically everything they can access. That is a fun surprise. Let's put a ladder here so they can actually get down to the rest of this. I didn't realize it was on a different level, but that's fine. You live and you learn. Very, very, very cool stuff. So the other thing we need to do, and you know, no, it's not going to be that hard to put this back in. I was going to say, you know, we don't need to be tempting fate by messing with this before we put in a bad tide coming through, but I think it's going to be fine. All right, so we'll put those two there, and then the sluices will be on this level because this outlet is only going to be 1 deep, and I don't think we're going to have any problems. We shouldn't, because this has already demonstrated that it's fine coming in this way. Now, if we end up having problems as a result of this, then yes, please roast me in the comments. Those of you who love to do so. But I'm pretty sure everything's going to be fine. Alright, let's hit pause. So it is actually overflowing. This is why we do it this way, folks. It's why we do it this way. Don't worry. It's gonna be okay. Gonna be fine. So what I will do, just for this bad tide, because we already had this set up this way, I'm just gonna blast this land back out. Don't worry. It's gonna be gone. And we'll just leave this completely open, because we know we can always open this if we have to fill this reservoir back up. We have 2,800 water. We're perfectly fine. Very, very minimal problems right now. We just need to make sure that this is blasted open so we don't have overflow. Yep, see, that already solved that problem. So, what that has taught us is that we do need to have this be 2 deep at the start, at the very least. And I am going to put the sluices back in here, because remember, these are basically just transparent blocks. Close below contamination 1%. Make sure we uncheck that. There we go. So this should basically always stay open. We can put the levees back on top of this, and all will be right in the world. But now that we know this will actually be fine, having all of this dirt up here, we can come back and play with that at a later date. The most important thing right now is to make sure that this bit is set up and ready to go with no further issues. Power production wise, again, we still don't have enough to turn the number cruncher on. The Church of the Number Cruncher, I'm sure, will send me very angry letters, but that is fine. I am going to run this for a little bit because we do need to have actual power. So let's turn these engines on. Make sure that we can actually take care of what we need to take care of. This is overflowing again, which is very strange. Oh, because I have that set to closed. All right. This is closed because I don't have it set to open for the purposes of the bad tide. That's why that's like that. But it is on auto. Close above contamination 1%, above contamination 1%, above contamination 1%. Close below contamination 1%, below contamination 1%. That is gonna be fine. We're gonna be A-okay. These will shut, and then it'll just go straight through here. There is no way for a beaver to get caught in the mess, and there is no way for the water to come into here. Except for some reason this is polluted again. I'm guessing that was a result of this backing up. Maybe that really shouldn't be the case. This really should not have flooded. I'm not sure. I mean, it must have been something like that. All right, well, boy, the angry people are going to have a field day with this one. Well, we'll get that taken care of. They're not going to go into the flooded areas. See, there we go. This, for some reason, has a little bit of poison in there. But the levels are all equalized. We're fine. Yeah, that's very, very weird. You can see 0% contamination on the stream gauge, so I guess it was just a visual thing because of the change in the season. But we're looking pretty good. Very, very strange to have this be polluted, but it is what it is, I suppose. So the levels here are fine. I'm not going to build any of these levees right here right now. But we do know that this will work. We just have to make sure that we build this during a not a bad tide. And we are smart about how we have other stuff set up here. But I am pretty sure that this is all going to be just fine. Obviously, we still have to put in irrigation barriers up here. Probably should have been one of our bigger priorities to do that, because this is going to be all sorts of polluted down here and killing berries. Yep. But once these are in place, we should see this nasty go away. Unless something is seriously wrong, which is, I guess, always possible. It's just weird how it's like polluting the ground underneath, but there's no bad water that's touching any of this. Very strange. All right, get that thing finished. Come on. Yeah, so what's up with this? What's up with this? We have irrigation barriers. And, I mean, this isn't protected here, but at least a little bit in the middle should definitely be fine. I don't really know what's going on with that. Very, very strange. I guess it's worth trying putting a couple of these in the corner and see if that makes it go away, but I think it's just weird behavior happening right now. This should not be doing any of that. Remember, this is the bottom of the reservoir. We'll experiment with it. Just see what exactly is happening here. Now, did this get Yeah, it got pumped out. All right, cool. Pause that. This, I guess, can go ahead and get some more bits and pieces popped in. Yeah, just bring this all the way out. Remember that this has to flow somewhere. Right now, this will be fine. Probably get the rest of this. And it just, I want to know why this isn't working. Okay, so this, I guess these are doing something in the bottom here, because this was previously polluted. I was hoping not to have to build stuff down here. Now, I know if I build irrigation barriers here, and it's covered with water, it's not going to protect me from what's above the water, but I wonder if, because very clearly this isn't doing too much here. If I put irrigation barriers here, would it protect from the bad water even if the good water is on top of it? I don't know. We'll find out. I'm going to go ahead and get them to build the rest of this out just because this needs to be a thing. Nice big construction project for them. Because when that's done, I can put irrigation barriers here as well, which should help our farmland a tiny bit. I think another part of the issue is... wait, actually, let's try putting 2 here. That might help. Might help us just a little bit. Let's make that a priority. And I have those in the corner. You know, those might actually not be doing anything. It's very hard to tell. Very, very hard to tell. So right now, this is what our little tendrils look like. If they put those 2 in there and these go away, then we know it worked. If they don't, then everything is unknowable. Okay, well, one of those is in. 2 of those are in. These have not gone away. They're not decreasing or anything, so... Well, I guess maybe... No, this middle bit is about as untendrilized as the rest is. So now... Oh, man, see, I guess... There's no reason not to try this, because this being in here is not going to affect the reservoir's ability to hold water. But if it removes the poison from down on the ground here, then that's going to be worth doing. Again, we're trying things. We are experimenting. I do not, and have not, and will not ever claim to know everything about the game. Just so we're abundantly clear. I just play a lot of Timberborn. That doesn't mean I'm good at it. I make videos. It doesn't make me better than you or worse than you or anything like that. I'm a guy that's played a lot of the game, and people like to watch me do it, I guess. I will be the first one to let you know that I am bad. That's so much to do with this game. But that's why we do this, right? It's fun. It's okay to be bad. As long as you know that you're bad. In the context of the game. Don't take that out of context as me endorsing people doing stupid things. Yeah, see, I don't see this bad water stuff going away at all. It's still just as much as it was before. Oh, no, it's disappearing. Okay. So now the question becomes, how did somebody get contaminated? Come on, man. You gotta be better than that. You gotta be better than that. So this is no longer contaminated here. If I get rid of these guys, I can have my farmland back. Get rid of those. That doesn't actually recontaminate anything. Yeah. What a weird mechanic. It's like these up here don't actually matter. Obviously, now these are working. These are working, but I wonder if it's because there's a vertical difference that's great enough for it to cause a problem, or it's because we have these right here that aren't stopping any contamination from coming through. So I'm pretty sure these, if I get rid of this land isn't contaminated because we have this here, so I don't know don't know exactly what's going on with that. It's very, very strange. Very weird. Well, at the very least, who got contaminated? Rohan. Come on, man. At least we have a treatment program. Just very, very strange. Very strange. Alright. Wait, have I been operating off of this small of a thing of soybeans this entire time? Because that's actually kind of funny. If that's the case. Kohlrabi-wise, I have 401. That's 3. It's more than I thought I'd need. So I'll tell you what I will do is I'll have this. Let's see, that's an extra 10, 12 squares if I get rid of... Yeah, that's going to be fine. I'm going to unplant this as being kohlrabies, and then I guess what I can do is plant this as soybeans. Probably should always make sure I have plenty of those. But if I plant these as soybeans, and then this is soybeans as well, this is going to be an extra bit here, extra bit here. I can probably afford, for right now, before we, relocate stuff, I can afford to unplant some or all of these. Yeah, and then I can plant those as eggplants, because those take 12 days to grow, but they give you 3 per square. And it's 2 per square for the soybeans that take 8 days, so technically, I guess the yield per square per day is the same, but the eggplant as a food can be turned into 6 units of food per eggplant versus the soybeans. It takes 6 of them to turn into 20, which is not as good, not as dense. So now there is no contamination anywhere over here. So I guess that counts as a win. That's taken care of. Building up this levee system right here is fine. This still is what it is. It's okay. And now cycle 23, I almost said cycle 32. Cycle 23 begins. This will continue flowing over until this is, I guess, no longer going to flood. I guess that's fine. Figuring all this stuff out, I guess I can turn off my... maybe I shouldn't turn off my engines quite yet. But now that it is... now that it's the good water cycle again, I want to try... I guess we could start off slow by putting in this little bump here. Because obviously I'm going to have these sluices down low. But I think I could just have it go immediately up. Okay, what flooded? Which building flooded? The farmhouse flooded? Shouldn't be flooded. This shouldn't be flooded at all. Why is that flooding? This is set to... Okay, well it's closed. Why did that go that high? Was it just because this, it was low enough where it wasn't going to close until it was... Okay, I don't know. I don't know. We're learning. Sometimes we're learning poorly and very slowly. But we're learning. Get those planted as soybeans. Honestly, probably should be planting some of this as canola instead of eggplant. Well, there's no rule that says the dog can't play basketball. I'll just plant these as canola. Why not? We'll get something going here. Okay, so this downstream depth is 2.01. It'll eventually dry out. It's going to be fine. Now, this has been placed here. So I'm guessing that means I'm going to be fine to just completely fill this in, huh? Why not? We already know these aren't generating any power, so we can go ahead and get rid of them. That is going to be an interesting thing for us to mess with here. Those taken care of. That means our impermeable floors can be replaced with levees, which is going to allow us to not have to use impermeable floors over here anymore. And since it's clean water, I'm not going to feel bad about getting rid of these things. Just need to make sure that it's going to be fine. I mean, I guess. Actually, judging by how this is set up, I probably didn't need to have these here anyway, because these are, Oh, never mind, they're overhangs. You idiot, you flooded everything. You are absolutely correct. Very astute observation. Yeah, this is going to need to be a levee immediately, so this doesn't completely screw everything up. We're learning. We are learning. In very fun ways. Yeah, now come fix this before it actually becomes a problem. This is why you always experiment during not a bad tide. Or else bad things can, do, and will happen. Alright, so next logical thing for us to do is to put levees on top of right here, so all the water can only flow through the sluices, and see if that is going to affect our outflow here. I think maybe because the level is, well, level here to here, maybe why it's not causing any problems. As soon as that flow is obstructed, it has to go down and then back up. Maybe that'll change stuff. I don't know. We'll find out. Of course, they're not going to have that done today. That's fine. Just continue to build whatever we can build and learn what we can learn along the way. Go ahead and get rid of these paths. We don't need those. That's fine. And now we have a choice as we come along the backside. I kind of want to leave this all at the same level until the corner, but we could, if we wanted to, start stepping down prior, and we could also... depending on how we want to set this up, we could stair-step it a little bit differently. I like the idea, now that I have the 3000 science to unlock this, I like the idea of having these overhangs be long enough for one large water wheel and then a barrier past it to go down one level. So for that to actually make sense, I think I'm going to have to build from the ground up to meet this. So if we pause so they can't actually build it, check our length here. Yeah, that's what we want to go in this exact spot. So that's going to be a triple. Aha, so higher than a triple. Triple double? And remember, we're going to have levees on top of this to be at the correct level. So that's what that would end up looking like. I've got to decide on how this is going to be brought in here, because I think I might have actually made a mistake in using the 6x1 here. Because the way this is set up, let's just take a look at right here. If I take a 5x1 in this spot, pretend this goes back, waterproofing purposes, I can either put a levee on top of it or I can put impermeable floors. Obviously, this outside is going to be all levees, but because this is flowing out here, and actually, if we raise the level, this dirt is going to be here and here. So the level we actually have to meet up with is right here, but if we want it to go down, which I think we do, then that's going to change this entirely. Let's mop that in. So if I do a 5x1 overhang here, might as well just go ahead and duplicate this so I can demonstrate to you exactly what's going on if I don't click in the wrong spot. Okay, 5x1s. This will be the outside, right here. That's got to be levees. It can't be anything else. We already knew that was a thing. This is going to have to be 2 blocks tall to accommodate spillage. Potentially need a wall here. So what we would be working with at that point would be a large water wheel that is going to have a nub on this, of course, going to have a nub on this front side to maintain our architectural integrity of the design here. Again, this is all just a little bit of on-the-fly planning here. Might not end up looking like this. But to get this all nailed down, This guy would go right here. The water would go down 1 block, and then we would have to have something up over here, which, if we're going to continue having things go down, is when this is going to have to change to be slightly different. Just humor me here for a second. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I do one here, and I have it set up to be, well, actually, I could have just done 2 2s to make this look a little nicer. Let's do that. 2 2s. If I do a 6 by 1, what that's going to allow me to do, just for the sake of explanation, just drag this in. Remember that the platforms, overhangs, and all that, they're not watertight. They have to have something that holds water, like a levee right here, and then build that like so. So what that does is that waterproofs underneath here and gives us the opportunity to get a another stair step down. Now, part of the way that this is set up, unless we decide to change this, there would have to be, well, we'd have to figure out how to change it in the first place. There'd have to be a space here in order to keep it from leaking. So the only way we could change that would be if this piece right here, I had to click on this just so I could show it to you, but this specific block, not the whole 5 by 1 overhang, this specific block right here would need to be a levee, and then this overhang would have to dead end into a levee. So this right here, this 5 by 1 overhang would actually have to be coming out from here going this way and not be a 5 by 1 overhang. It would have to be a 4 by 1. But I'm trying to think if the way I'm explaining this is going to make sense. It probably isn't for a lot of you. If your brain is weird like mine, then maybe it does. But I need to be able to ensure this specific block right here is going to not be an overhang if we want these to butt up next to each other. And I think it's possible. I'm just not entirely sure that the way this has been... I'm trying to think the best way to word it. The way that this has been conceptualized in my brain might not work. It might, maybe, if I can figure out how to properly articulate what I'm looking for. The thing that's messing me up is descending, trying to keep these as tight as possible. I'm reasonably sure I can do it, but not with the design set up like this. So let's just, for right now, just scrap this, because we're already basically at the end of the episode anyway. Scrap that, and then come out, I guess, like this right here, with a, say, a 3 by 1. Assuming that this is going to be impermeable floor to here, and then we have, no, get out of here, these things. Wait a second, did it let me build? It did. I think that was a change of the update that I just completely forgot about. It let me build a levee on top of an impermeable floor. But yeah, I've got this thing as a 3 by 2. Come up here as, I think I can get this to work. A 2 by 2, of course, this one right here. Gonna need to have a piece of, that on the ground. If I do, this might not make sense, but hear me out. I do a 2 by 1 overhang here. And then I have my triples like this. Put in a levee here. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. This is going to have to be in the center here. Yeah, let's get that out. Try with a 4 by 1. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make it work. It's probably going to frustrate the ever-loving crap out of a lot of you, and I guess, going to have to deal with that. But I think, genuinely, that this is possible, and I think it's worth pursuing. So we will just have to figure it out, won't we? So if I do 4x1s like this, I mean, this is objectively going to be pretty ugly, and I'm not sure how to make it look any better, but maybe there's some sort of way I could justify cantilevering different things, like instead of having you have this triple, or you have a double, and then a 2x1, and then this would... All right. Okay, all right. Bear with me, bear with me. I told you I'm going to try to get this to work. I might lose some of you in the process, but I think it's going to be doable. All right. So, this setup like this, I'm going to have, coming off of this side, those are 3x1s. You know, that probably should be 4x1s, but if I put a 4x1s here, these things here, and then I put in that right there, and then right here I put those. Alright, so this needs to be 5s. Alright, so, is this ugly? Yes. Is it waterproof? Also yes. Does it allow me to stack large water wheels the way that I wanted to stack them? Also yes. Assuming that the actual level of the water that's coming out is not going to spill, this should being the operative term, should work. So what would end up happening is I would just continue building down this way, maybe start this one more level down, maybe, but I think this is going to be a winner. And I know if you sat through watching me do all that, that you're probably invested in this enough to be behind that as well. So if you have any reason to believe or are able to prove that this is going to absolutely fail, please do let me know. I like to have you guys involved as much as I can. But I think we're going to go with this. But it is going to get moved down one. I'm going to leave it in place now. So we will have to go ahead and pause the lowest bits of supports on this so nothing actually gets built before we're ready for it to be done. But I think this is going to be a winning solution here. I had to figure out a way to have this be at the same height as this first block here and not have anything break through. But yeah, that's what it looks like without the wheels. I'm pretty well, okay, once this is, you know, actually impermeable floored. Why is it not letting me impermeable floored? Oh, is that because I had the thing here? Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that. No, the impermeable floor is there. So why then was it not showing when I lowered my... Aha! Okay, no, it was always there. We're good. I just peeled back the layers a little bit too much. Yeah, that's gonna work. And if it doesn't work, then at the very least it's gonna be funny when it fails. But I think... Reminder that we have to move this down one. But I'm gonna leave this up so I don't forget what it looks like. And hopefully we're going to be able to easily, or kind of easily reproduce it. Gonna have to think about a couple other things. But if we can get this down one, then this will be down one more. This will be here. This will be here. I think it should be at the level enough for us to put impermeable floors or levees, depending on what the height works out to. Just bring this down and then bring it around and then bring it around here and bring it through there. Cool. So, what did we get done today, I say, looking over at OBS that's now about to take over an hour? Well, we learned some new stuff about how the water flows that I wasn't completely familiar with before. I like to think that we had a pretty decent accomplishment here. Of course, it's always possible that I'm just completely... absolutely stark raving mad, but this should should, being the operative term, end up being a big windfall for us. Obviously, this still has to be put in and all that. But they'll continue working on that. We are still in the process of filling this up. So what I will do, I'll just maximum prioritize this whole thing. And we'll get you guys out of here at the end of this episode. I always appreciate you guys watching these videos, offering feedback. Yes, again, I do always read the comments. I can't do everybody's suggestions. Sometimes they just don't make sense. Sometimes it's something that's not going to work. Sometimes it's something somebody else suggested in a way that is slightly different and still accomplishes the same thing, but is going to be easier to build or makes more sense to my brain that is bad at math. So please don't ever take it personally if I don't build something you've suggested. I always read the comments. I'm not ignoring you. I can't do everything all at once. I'm one human being with, at best, a mostly functional brain. It's just, stuff's going to slip through the cracks. That's just the way it goes. But I do appreciate your support, Beard Boosters, also making it possible for us to continue this insanity of daily, for the most part, unless something comes up, daily videos on the beavers and other stuff. We're going to be back to Roller Coaster Tycoon this weekend as well, after missing that last weekend. We have the Water Beaver playthrough is steadily progressing toward the end of there. And then there's a bunch of other games people have been asking me to get into that I would love to do as well. So that's where we're going to leave it for today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.